An incredibly important part of this class is reflection. A reflection is a description of an experience you have had in college in which you focus on what happened, what you did, and how you've grown. Strong reflections are specific. They describe in detail your actions and what obstacles you faced. They also show your ability to interrogate the situation, considering why you behaved the way you did at the time, what assumptions or abilities you brought into the situation, as well as how you've changed as a result of that experience. I want you to dig deep when you write these reflections. You should put on the hat of an interviewer who's embarking on a research project. Only you're not interviewing other people, you're interviewing yourself. This means you'll have to push yourself to get past your first superficial descriptions to locate and articulate the details that will actually be interesting for somebody else to read. I'm a sociologist, and I often teach interviewing as a strategy that students who are interested in qualitative research can use. I always tell these students that the most important part of conducting an interview is the follow-up question. It's easiest for me to show you this in action. So here's a clip from an interview I did with my friend Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a 2006 Wesleyan alum, and in the interview, I'm asking him how he ended up at Wesleyan.
We were touring a bunch of things in Boston and happened to think, well, it's not that far to go down and visit Wesleyan. We'd heard some good things about it. Mostly my dad was driving that decision, and he was also driving the car. So we went where it went. And we came down and I really liked it. And so then I ended up realizing I was interested in it and decided to do an overnight visit.
When you were on campus visiting and you did the overnight visit, what do you remember about what stuck out to you where you came away from it saying, I love this?
That's a really good question. I would say just the way that the feel of the campus was from the students there in particular. The host student that I was with, welcoming and friendly, and I got to meet a handful of his friends and have the experience of just being on a college campus. And it ended up being quite a different group than I would end up being part of when I was at Wesleyan. But still, just being around like the friendliness of people.
What stands out as some still memory in your head about a time at Wesleyan where you had to be creative or solve a problem in a certain kind of way? And it might be academic, but it might not be.
So one of the things I discovered at Wesleyan is that I really liked doing theatrical directing, which I know goes against what I said before about being creative in that kind of way. And it's still completely true in all of the other ways. But I had done acting in high school and enjoyed it. And then I got to Wesleyan and I thought, I'll just not ever officially, not as a theater major or anything, but continue to act. Part of what I liked about Wesleyan was the student theater scene. And so that experience is something I still draw on when I talk to various people about sort of, what does it mean, the way that you think about creativity and the way that you address complicated problems in groups and leadership and all these sorts of questions that pop up in interviews all the time. Mm-hmm. I draw on that directing experience, which I continued a little bit through in grad school, and how all of those skills can translate into lots of other stuff.
So as someone who's never done any directing, can you give me an example of how you have to do problem solving?
Yeah. Most steps of the way is some sort of problem to figure out. How do you fit these people on the stage to do this sort of thing? How do you manage to convey this scene with only this much money, which of course in student theater is effectively nothing. How do you, when I was doing it, I don't know what it's like now, but certainly we had some access under a limited scope with the professional costume shop that the CFA Theater has, but not really any ability to go much outside of that. I mean, maybe some thrift shops and things like that. But not a lot. And so, how do you get the look that you want? How do you figure out how to convey these things? And then also just working with people.